had already received. Because when we are talking about aggregation, it means that we have multiple queries, one after each other, another, and these queries may be run on different tables also. So we have different queries on different tables, but there is a smart attacker who can combine these results and have access to very sensitive data. But in inference, they are just some functions like counts, sum, average, and then you are deducing, you are resulting some sensitive data from non-sensitive. This is hard too, this is difficult problem too, but relatively related to aggregation, it's easier problem, and you can just have some controls over query. For example, as I said before, you can say if the result of query is involving, for example, 2 or 3 records, then don't show the results. It's a very simple rule. You can have the similar rules here to have protection in this kind of attack. But in aggregation, it's more difficult. Mr. Qasim is it in a...
هنا مقارنة بين عمليات الوصول بالاستنتاج وباستخدام الاجريجيشن فانكشن أو الدوالي الإحصائية. أكو تشابه بيناتهم لكن هم يختلفون بيناتهم. شلون؟ الاستدلال يحصل على البيانات الحساسة من بيانات غير حساسة، هذا عرفناه كل احنا. هذه يقول مشكلته بسيطة، ممكن معالجها بوسائل اللي أخذناها بالسيطرة أو وسائل اللي تحمي البيانات. الاجريجيشن عندك هنا افتهمنا بأنه عدة تواجد لبيانات، مثل مرة تستخدم الافريج يعطيك نتائج، تستخدم الكاونت يعطيك نتائج، فإذا نفس النتائج تقدر تبني عليها واحدة من الثانية حتى تستخلص نتيجة جديدة. يقول هذا من الصعب أن هاي مشكلة أصعب من الانفيرنس. معالجتها شلون؟ الداتابيس مانجمنت سيستم اللي هو مدير قاعدة البيانات يتعقب المسار لكل يوزر، هذا أيضا عمل مضني أو فشي، فيقول لازم تعقب المسار للبيانات اللي تضرب على القاعدة، يعني شكو بيانة أو استعلام تريده من القاعدة يجب أن يكون تحت سيطرة الداتابيس.
Thank you. And it is just introduction to flow control. It's just a definition. I don't want to go to details yet. Flow control means regulates the distribution or flow of information among accessible objects and verifies information contained in some object does not flow explicitly or implicitly into less protected objects. Maybe one user here, for example, we have one user one, and user one has access to this data. But there is another application which can read information from this classified data and then write it here to this unclassified data. So there is some, for example, application here or some person maybe who can read information from this classified information, read this information, and then write that information in this unclassified database so user one can see this. A very simple form of the policy is the multi-level uh, multi-level classification of the information which we discussed before and in the beginning of this today session. If we say that this application can have access to this level of information, the application or person or the user cannot write it in the lower levels. It's a very simple form, confidential and unconfidential. You cannot write confidential information into unconfidential database. So it specifies channels along which information is allowed to move. This channel, if this channel, it means this flow of information. If this channel can read information from confidential databases, it cannot write information in an unclassified database. This is a simple way.
دكتور، وأنها السيطرة على حركة الدفق البيانات بين قاعدتين أو مكانين أو فشي، تنظيم عملية انتقال البيانات أو توزيع البيانات بين الكائنات المختلفة. يعني احنا تذكرون بأنه صنفنا البيانات على أساس الفئات، توب سيكريت، السيكريت، الكونفيدنشال والانكليفر. فهذه السياسة تتبع بوضع البيانات والسيطرة عليها، بحيث كل من يشوف الفئات مالته وبطريقة طريقة الفولو كنترول، فولو بوليسي، تخصيص هو القناة الخاصة اللي بيناتهم، بحيث كل من يقدر يشوف البيانات.
Thank you. And there are some challenges in maintaining database security. I just brought you some brief definitions, and I will explain each one which I think is necessary in later sessions. Data quality, we have quality stamps. We want to know if the information is correct. For example, application level recovery techniques to automatically repair incorrect data. It means data quality, dependability, for example. We want to make sure that data is correct. There is no noise, for example, or no error in information. Maybe some attackers are just going to change the information and give you the false information. So we have to maintain the quality of data. Intellectual property rights. There are some digital watermarking techniques. These are used in images. You have watermarking techniques which add some information to data, and then using this information you can make sure that this data is original. the image is original and it's not fake. There are some watermarking techniques here. Then we have database survivability. It means confinement. Confinement means take immediate action to eliminate or reduce attackers' access. We have two steps here. First, you want to detect the attack. Detect if there is any attack detection or malfunctioning detection. Then we have some recovery techniques. Now you found the attack. What should we do? Like an antivirus on your system. The antivirus says that I found one attack, one Trojan, one virus in your computer system. Then you should select which action the antivirus do. For example, delete the delete this file or application. Mr. Qasim, do you need to explain to your friends, to other students?
Thank you, Doctor. We can say the slide is before the attack happened, and the second slide, what requirement after attack happened.
Uh, no, not necessarily. These are some points and some properties which must be hold in their system, in their database. The first is how we can have the data quality. It means that repairing incorrect data, if there is any problem and you want to change the information and bring it back to normal form. And this is the property rights rules. For example, you must have digital watermarking techniques to have this um,
The connection and I can back. Can I explain to my friend? أخواننا التحديات الخاصة بصيانة أمن البيانات أو الحفاظ على أمنية البيانات. أول شيء قبل كل شيء هو نوع البيانات، طابع البيانات اللي تجمعها لازم تكون ضمن مستويات معينة. الابلكيشن اللي مستخدمة باسترجاع البيانات هل هي من تدرج عندك من الاوتوماتيكلي مثل استخدام الابلكيشن وتصحيح الخطأ إذا وجد. هذا تعتمد على أكثر، خلينا نقول أكثر ذكاء أو المستوى التقنيات العلامة المائية الرقمية حتى تحافظ على حقوق البيانات. إذا صار عندك الاختراق هذا، طبعا هو شلون تحافظ على البيانات يقول
Well, here we have security architecture. Some of the topics which I discussed before, I will, which are more important, we will discuss them more in upcoming sessions. But now I have some issues. I will brought you some issues and some important challenges in information security and security architecture. Security violation and attacks are increasing globally at an annual average rate of 20% in each. The violation of for example, 10 or 20 years ago, many of systems were not connected to internet, were not connected to network. The main risk of a system to be attacked is, internet and network. That attackers and hackers can easily have access to information through networks. And since the network is becoming more popular in many applications, so it's obvious that the attacks are becoming more and more. And also, the attackers and hackers are finding new ways to attack your system, your data. They are becoming more smart and they are finding new ways to hack the systems and store the information. You serve as a database administrator to enforce security policies. Responsibilities can be design and implement a new database security policy, enforce a strongest, it's strongest, it's a strongest security policy, implement functional specification of a module, for example, encrypt stored data, replace sensitive data using the data masking pack. As a database admin, you have to uh, manage these topics, design and implement database security policies, and use the best and strongest one, and you can implement functional specification of a module. It means you can have some function, some specific function. You say we have some
معد لإعداد مهندس والأمن والحفاظ على البيانات. كل الاعتداءات الأخيرة اللي صارت على الأمنية بالسنوات الأخيرة كانت نسبتها أكثر من 20%، معدل يعني ينطق معدل سنوي 20%. أغلبها إجت من البيانات أو الأنظمة اللي كانت ما مربوطة بالإنترنت، فمن ارتبطت بالإنترنت صار من السهل الوصول إليها لأنه عندها بها ثغرات أمنية عديدة. أنت كمدير قاعدة بيانات أو مدير نظام لازم تفرض عدة سياسات أمنية. مسؤولياتك هاي راح تكون أما بتصميم أو تنفيذ أمنية جديدة أو سياسات أمنية جديدة. أولا تفرضها أنت، database management، عندك database security policy. اثنين، تفرض أنت بقوة، تفرض أساليب قوية للوصول للبيانات، سياسات أمنية قوية.
Some database management systems like Oracle, for example, they are using this data masking pack for some information like credit card information, ID of some person, some information which are private. You can use this data masking pack, and this is some form of encrypting data. Prevent physical access to the servers where the data resided. Operating systems require authentication of the identity of computer users and implement security models that enforce security measures. Security measures means, first of all, we can prevent physical access